to talk about a few topics today. As you can see from the slide, there's three main topics that I will talk about. First is sharing economy. The second one is blue ocean strategy. And the last one is bicycle sharing platform, which is Pedaru, the startup that I have launched in Tokyo. So just a background about myself. I was born in 1989. I'm 29 years old, born in Lebanon. In 2007, I moved to Canada to study mechanical engineering. And then I worked in business development for 4 years in the airline industry. After that, I moved to Singapore to do my MBA at INSEAD. And that's where the idea of coming to Japan and doing a bicycle sharing startup came to my mind. In 2017, summer of 2017, roughly 1 year ago, I moved to Japan and I launched the company. And I'm currently the CEO and founder of Pedaru. And I've also launched a second company recently, also in Japan, called Vigino, where I'm the co-founder and CTO of the company. I also love to play squash, I love to go hiking, I love to do meditation, so if you share similar hobbies, please talk to me afterwards. I'd be happy to have a conversation about those topics. So what we're going to talk about today is what is sharing economy, what is the status of sharing economy in Japan, what is blue ocean strategy, and then fourth, how does blue ocean strategy and sharing economy relate to the startup that I'm doing in Japan called Pedaru. And then just some final notes at the end. If you have any questions, please interrupt at any time and ask. If it's an easy question, I will answer right away. If it's a difficult question, I'll answer at the end of the presentation. So, first question, please raise your hand if you think the answer is yes. Is Mercari a sharing economy company? Who thinks it's yes? Hi, please raise your hand. Okay, and who thinks it's no? No one. Okay. In fact, actually, the answer is no, and that's part of the reason we have this presentation is to understand why is Mercari not a sharing economy company. The main reason is that Mercari is a company that is a marketplace where people buy and sell items, but they're not technically sharing products between each other. It's not like Uber, it's not like Airbnb, where you share a house or you share a car or you share a ride. It's just a marketplace similar to Amazon, but in this case, you're buying or selling used items. So the definition of sharing economy, I've written it here in Japanese. I'll give you 5 seconds to read it before I explain in English. But pretty much sharing economy is when a company or a person shares an underutilized item with someone else, where the main benefit is earning money, or it could be other types of benefits. Now, I put the word money in parentheses because in certain cases the benefit is not money, and we'll see that in a little bit. And the word underutilized is also highlighted in parentheses because in certain cases the item is not underutilized, but it's still being shared between two people or a company and a person. There are several categories of sharing economy. The first one that became very popular is house sharing or house rental, similar to Airbnb, where you can share your house with other people and make money. The second one is ride sharing, which is very similar to Uber, where you can share your car or share your ride with other people and earn money and make money from it. And the third one is companies like WeWork, where you can have share office space with other people. However, in the last 2 years, the definition of sharing economy has become more broad and has expanded to include other types of sharing economy, such as crowdfunding. In crowdfunding, people are sharing a certain service or a certain item, and in return, they get money. So I pay you money for a short period of time, and then you give me a service or a product after that period of time is over. The second case is talent sharing, where you access the talent of someone. So for example, you hire a developer on Upwork, or you hire a designer on Fiverr.com to do small design work for you. In this case, the designer or the person who's working is sharing his talent or her talent with you and other customers, and you're giving them the benefit of money for a temporary period of time. So in this case, this also counts as sharing economy. The last one is money lending. So today there's many websites using Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and cash as well, where you can share money with other people, and in return, you get the interest rate. So it also falls under the category of sharing economy. Those are the 6 major types of sharing economy that exist today. Now, sharing economy has many benefits and also has many disadvantages at the same time. The main benefit is that you get to make money on something that you weren't using too much or too often. So if you have a house or apartment you don't use, you can put on Airbnb and make money from it. It's a big, nice benefit. The second one is for users. In many cases, renting a house on Airbnb is much cheaper than renting a hotel room, or using Uber is much cheaper than taking a taxi. So the user gets to save money. The third benefit is the convenience. It's very easy to use. Most sharing economy companies are using technology such as smartphones or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. And then it makes it very easy for people like us to access their services and use their companies. At the same time, there are major disadvantages for sharing economy. One of the main ones is the security. There's many stories about people who took an Uber car ride and then there was an accident and there was no insurance to cover them. Or people who used Airbnb, but then something happened, they got killed, they got murdered, and then there's no insurance for that as well. And that's because there's not so much regulation on sharing economy as to how companies should operate. The second disadvantage has to do with the money. If you are someone who is using sharing economy to make money, your money is not stable. If you put your house on Airbnb to rent, 1 month you could make a lot of money, and another month you might make no money. So sharing economy is a great way to make money on the side, extra revenue, but it's not a good way to be a full-time job for someone. The third disadvantage, the third disadvantage has to do with, it's difficult for me to translate from Japanese to English, sorry about that. Security, yeah. And so with security, there could be a lot of issues for people and a lot of issues for companies where how do they control security and how do they control the safety of people. Just to give a quick example of sharing economy, major big sharing economy companies in the world, there's Uber that most people know. Uber is a company where you can use your car to earn extra money. Airbnb, where you can rent your apartment to make money. Pedaru, which is a big company in North America, it's a mix of Uber and Airbnb together. So instead of you being a driver, you just rent your car to your neighbors or people around you, and then you can make money on it. Rate Setter is a company where people can rent money to each other, and you set the interest rate. So if I want to give money to someone, I negotiate with them the interest rate I will get. And then that is the benefit that I will be making. I'm sharing my money with them and I make the interest rate. Fawn is a very interesting company that has grown to quite a lot of users. It's a company where you can share your Wi-Fi network. So if you share your Wi-Fi network on Fawn, you can access all the other Wi-Fi networks that other people are sharing. And right now they have more than 20 million users, so there's more than 20 million Wi-Fi access points all around the world that you can access by being a user of Fawn. Spacer is a company where you can rent extra space you don't need for storage or other purposes with people. So I have a question for you, and if you'd like to answer it, please raise your hand. Aside being sharing economy companies, what do you think is something in common between all those companies that are on the screen right here? Any idea? Any answer?
There was a lot of demand on the market, but they were the first one who made the market first.
That's correct. I'm looking for a much simpler answer actually. I'll answer it, but it is a very good point. They were the first ones in the market. They're global companies. They're very big with high valuations, and they're very successful. What is actually in common between all these companies is that none of them are Japanese. And that gets us to the next topic, the status of sharing economy in Japan. There are a lot of articles, if you Google, about how bad sharing economy is in Japan today. According to Tech in Asia, only 1% of Japanese people use sharing economy services today. According to Reuters, sharing economy in Japan is a very small market and still in the infancy, or just at the start of it. According to The Economist, people in Japan can share, but refuse to share and don't want to share, and that's why the market is still very small. So we saw a lot of big companies and big names on the previous slide, but like I said, none of them is Japanese, and there's no big unicorn or big major sharing economy Japanese startup coming from Japan. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, and I try to summarize them in 3 main reasons, but the first one goes down to culture. In Japan, I think you understand the culture much better than me, but many people, especially the older generation, have the tendency to own items. They prefer to buy and have ownership than to share something or to use something for a short period of time. That definitely impacts sharing economy market in a very negative way in Japan. The second one is regulations. There's a lot of strict regulations from a government that is not very open-minded right now about sharing economy that stops or slows down the growth of this type of industry. As you may have heard, Airbnb was forced to close 80% of the rentals that they have in Japan a few months ago. Uber was not successful in Japan, whereas those companies have been able to be very successful in quite a lot of other countries, including other Asian countries. The third reason is the lack of awareness. Only 2.7% of Japanese people truly, really understand what is sharing economy. And this is a statistics that was done by PricewaterhouseCoopers last year. So it's a very recent statistics by a reputable company. And they're telling us that many people don't even know what is sharing economy, what are the benefits of sharing economy. And if people don't know, then they just cannot support those type of companies. To give you an idea of the size of market, the market for sharing economy in China is 32 times bigger than the one in Japan. Even though both countries are very close to each other, both countries have startups, some similarities in culture, many differences, but Japan is very much behind compared to other Asian countries like Singapore, China, Japan, etc. Now in Japan, there's still some sharing economy companies that are doing very well. A lot of you might know Space Market. ECPO is another sharing economy startup where you can share space and store people's luggage in a cafe or in your house or in a conveni. Akipa is based in Osaka, if I'm not mistaken, and they share the parking lots of people, so you can earn money if you have a car parking lot, and you share it with other people. Docomo Bike Share, which is currently the biggest bicycle sharing company in Japan, and Makuwake, which is one of the biggest crowdfunding websites in Japan. There's also a Sharing Economy Association, which was started in 2015. And the main job of this Sharing Economy Association is to support these type of companies, support companies like Pedaru as well, and try to work with the government on changing regulation and making the government truly understand the benefit of sharing economy and what it could do to Japan. Now that we understand roughly what is sharing economy, what are the advantages, the disadvantages, the situation in Japan, I want to talk about a very different topic called Blue Ocean Strategy. It might be a very new topic for most of you here. Blue Ocean Strategy was invented in 2004, and it became a book in 2005. It's written by the two people that you see on the slide, Chan Kim and René Maubourg. They are both professors at INSEAD, which is the business school where I studied 2 years ago. And the Blue Ocean Strategy book is considered to be the #1 business strategy book in the world. It's used now by a lot of companies, and it has had a lot of positive impact on many industries. Before I explain what is Blue Ocean Strategy, I think the best way to understand what is Blue Ocean is to first understand what is Red Ocean. Those are two terms that actually exist. An easy way to think of Red Ocean is to think of every market, every business, every company as a Red Ocean company. And this is a perfect example of a Red Ocean. As you can see, these are all Japanese car manufacturers. They're all making very similar products. All the cars look very similar to each other. They're targeting the same customers, and they're working in the same market space. This is a Red Ocean, because the only way one company can benefit or win against another company is by either making the product very different or reducing the cost and the price very much. Other than that, there's really no difference in choosing one car over another car for the customer. So there's no win-win situation in this case. And companies tend to lose a lot of money in the market because of these type of situations. Now, taking this example of the car industry into account, let's think about a company that is also in the car industry, but is somewhat of a blue ocean company. And that would be Tesla. Tesla is a perfect example of blue ocean because they came up with a new product, they focus on new customers, and they have a lot of differentiation from the competition. What they're doing is very different than what every other car company does. And not only do they attract new customers, they attract people who had no interest in buying a car in the past. There are many people who buy Tesla because they support the environment and they would not buy a car in the past. There are many people who buy Tesla because they want a car that has a lot of technology in it and is very advanced. Those type of people would not have bought a Honda or a Mazda or a Mitsubishi in the past, but now will buy a car because of what Tesla is offering. This is one way of understanding blue ocean strategy. So if we compare a red ocean strategy to a blue ocean strategy, I'll let you read through the slides while I explain it, but in a red ocean strategy, you are fighting in an existing market with other competition. In a blue ocean strategy, you make a new product or a new service, and you create a new market for yourself. And when you do that, in the red ocean strategy, your main objective is to beat your competition and try to do something better. In the blue ocean strategy, there's no competition. You just make something new, and you don't care. The competition is not relevant anymore. And you have all this new market space just for you. In the red ocean strategy, like I said before, companies can either make the product different or make the cost and the price low. Whereas in the blue ocean strategy, since you have no competition, you can make your product different and reduce your cost. And we'll see a second example in a little bit, how a company was able to reduce cost and make a product different and be a blue ocean company at the same time. Finally, in the red ocean, you focus on existing customers, whereas in the blue ocean, you focus on new customers with your new product. So, as a summary, red ocean leads to death of companies where they lose a lot of money and there's just no happiness for them. Whereas blue ocean leads to a very nice beach where you can operate on your own, have no competition, and make a lot of money. And an example, or a second example of red ocean versus blue ocean is the circus industry. Now, as you know, in the circus, they tend to use animals most of the time. And animals have a very high cost to buy them, to maintain them, to take care of them, to feed them. And that creates actually the biggest cost for any circus company. At the same time, a circus has clowns. When they have a clown, what people tend to think is that this is not so professional company. It's not a serious company, it's more for fun. It's a fun product. You go to the circus just to laugh a little bit and see a clown and some animals. And then circus companies tend to focus on families that have children. But those type of families cannot afford to pay a very high price for this type of service. So the traditional circus industry has a very high cost and a very low price, and the profit is very small. And there's many circus companies that are doing the same thing. There's no difference between one company or another company. You just choose one circus because the ticket might be cheaper. An example of a circus company that became actually a very huge company in the last 20 years and the blue ocean strategy is Cirque du Soleil. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about this company, but they have done shows in Tokyo and in Osaka in the past. And what they've done is implemented blue ocean strategy to make a lot of money. What they did, the first step, was to remove animals from the show. It's a circus that has no animals whatsoever. So the biggest cost is gone. They don't need to feed animals, they don't need to give them any food, any medication, or take care of them. The second step was that they added extra things to the circus. They added a story, they added art and performance. People started to think the circus is fancy and the circus is professional. And because of that, they target a different new customer, couples or adults, working adults, who are willing to pay a much higher price to see a much nicer and more professional show. So what Cirque du Soleil did using blue ocean strategy was reduce the cost and they actually made the ticket price 3 times more than the circus. And everything in between is the extra profit that they are making. And they became so big that no other company in the circus industry can actually compete with them. They are the biggest circus company today, and what used to be the biggest circus company shut down and went bankrupt last year because they couldn't compete in the red ocean anymore using animals and clowns and things like that. So this is Blue Ocean strategy. What I want to talk about now is how does Blue Ocean strategy and sharing economy relate to the startup Pedaru that I'm working on. If we think about the bicycle sharing industry in Japan today, there are several companies trying to do bicycle sharing. Ofo just left the market, so they don't count anymore. But there's Docomo bicycle sharing, Pipa, Mobike, Mercari, run by Mercari, and Hello Cycling, which is run by SoftBank. Now, all these companies are technically in a red ocean. They all have the same business model. They spend a lot of money to buy bicycles at the beginning and to start their business. They focus on the same type of customer, which is the salary man, and in certain cases, the housewife. And then as a third step, they all operate in the same area of operation. They focus on the center of the city, center of Tokyo, center of Yokohama, and in certain cases, central of Kyoto. What we are trying to do with Pedaru is Blue Ocean strategy for bicycle sharing. So, Pedaru is a bicycle sharing company, but we are also a platform like Airbnb. We do not buy any bicycles. What we do is we take existing bicycles or existing mamachari from Japanese people who don't need them because they are underutilized assets, and we share them on our platform with people who do need to use a bicycle. And in this case, we're following the example of Cirque du Soleil, as we saw before. Our cost is actually very low because we're not buying any bicycles. We have no initial cost at the beginning. We are renting bicycles from people to other people. We focus on university students like you. Our service is purely focused on university students, not salaryman, not housewife, not normal or other type of Japanese people, just students. And as a third step, we operate in locations where none of the other companies operate. So as an example, Pedaru today focuses on Seikei University. Seikei University is in Musashino City, and there's quite a few students who go to that university, around 7,000 or 8,000 students who study there. The university is 20 minutes walk from the station. So what we do is we focus on providing our bicycles that we take from Japanese people to provide them to those students who want to go from station to campus back and forth. So the way our system works and our startup works as a step one is that we go get the bicycle from the owner, or the owner contacts us to put the bicycle on our platform. We give the owner 3 different choices on how to make money. It could be a revenue share. They could sell us the bicycle if they want to, or they could donate the money that they make to an NPO, a non-profit organization that we support. As a second step, we go target universities that are 15 to 30 minutes away from train stations, walking time. Seikei University is one example, ICU is another example, Chuo University is another example. All these universities are far from train stations, and there's quite a few students whose only option is to walk or take an expensive bus for 200 or 300 yen each way. And so that's the third step. We target the students who no longer want to walk or who no longer want to pay so much money for a bus or for an expensive ride. And as a fourth step, the students can access our bicycles and rent them through our mobile application, which is already released on the iOS App Store. To give you an idea of how our application works, it's very simple. First page is for login or creating a new account. The second page is for adding credit card information. We use Stripe.com, which is very secure and very safe and is used by many companies in the world, including Facebook, Under Armour, and other large companies. And then the student can locate any bicycle that is around them, so they can use them, and they can also see where is our parking spots that are available for use. The students can easily unlock the bicycle by just pressing on a bicycle and entering the registration number of the bicycle. We give them the code to open the lock, and then they ride to any destination that they want, and then they just hit the button on the bottom to end the ride and finish using our bicycle. So it's a very simple system focused on a very target-specific customer base, which is university students, in a way where our cost is very low and everyone has a win-win situation. The bicycle owner gets to make money, the bicycle user saves money and time on transportation, and we get to also make some profit in between as a platform. Just to give you a quick introduction about the team, I'm the co-founder and CEO. Watanabe-san, who is also with us in the room sitting in the back, she's in charge of business development and sales. And then we have 4 advisors, including the previous managing director of Goldman Sachs in Tokyo, as well as consultants, as well as people who work in the media industry, previous CEO of Nosan in Yokohama. So it's a very Japanese team. But we also have interns and student ambassadors, including Rayon, Hiroki-san, and Doruna, who couldn't be with us tonight. And we have 2 mascots as well for the company. We chose a duck to be our mascot. So that would be Pedaru and Pedako. As you can see, Pedaru is here with us today during this presentation. We'll let him sleep for now. So as a final note, what I want you to remember, I know there's a lot of information in this presentation and many of it is new for you, but I think it's very important as university students to spend a little bit of time and research a bit more about Blue Ocean strategy. It could be something that would help you quite a lot in your future company, wherever you end up working, or if you become an entrepreneur doing a startup, and doing something different is very important to survive against larger companies that have much more money and already have a much better reputation than you do. The book is actually available in Japanese as well on Amazon Japan, so you can get it for, I think, 2,000 yen. Second is I want you to try your best to learn more about sharing economy in Japan and to support and use companies who offer sharing economy services, because we need your help. Whether it's my company or Docomo Cycle or other types of companies, we need the support of the younger Japanese generation to keep going and to create change in Japan and to grow this type of industry. As a third step, if you'd like to, you can spread the word about Pedaru. Our service is focused on customers like you, university students, and we're doing our best to make your life easier when you go to university, depending on which campus you go to. As a fourth step, you could join us as well. We're looking for more interns. We're looking for more student ambassadors. Some of our interns are available here today. They can answer questions about their experience so far in the internship. But we'd love to have more students and connect to more universities and more campuses through you. And as a last step, since we have our mascot here today, if you, in the next 2 hours or 2.5 hours until this event is over, we'll have the mascot available in the back. You're more than welcome to take a picture with it and share it on Instagram with our hashtag Pedako at Pedaru Japan. And one of you will end up going away with a 1,000 yen Starbucks or Amazon gift card. It would be your choice. So should you want to enter the competition, please do so in the next 2 hours. Thank you very much.
Jad, thanks so much for your presentation. Before we move to the next presentation, I want to ask if there is any questions from the floor. なんか質問とかありますか？日本語でも英語でもいいです。どうぞ。
Do you also provide insurance for your users in case they have accidents?
Yes, we do.
Like bike accidents?
Yes, we work with one of the large insurance companies in Japan, Nihon Sompo. We do provide insurance in case there's accidents. Now, the type of accident also is kind of important to understand what caused the accident, but even if it is a maintenance issue, because it's our fault we don't maintain the bicycle properly, we still have insurance that covers that as well. So as a user, you are insured with the insurance company that we have.
Okay. じゃあ、稲葉君。
So how do we get the money if we share the bicycle in the pedal?
Sure. So there's 3 ways, actually 2 ways to make money, 1 way to do something nice and good. The 2 ways of making money, number 1, you give us the bicycle, we share 30% of the revenue with you. So we take the bicycle, we do the maintenance, we take care of it, we do all the work finding the customer, putting it in the right location. And then every time someone uses the bicycle, you make 30% of the rate that we charge. So if we charge 100 yen to a customer to use the bicycle, you would make 30 yen at that point. So if you're graduating from university and you have a bicycle you don't need anymore, it's a great way to just put on the platform and make money from it instead of throwing it behind on campus and losing value from it. The second option we have, some people don't want to make money every time the bicycle is used. They just want to make money today. So depending on the condition of the bicycle and how good it is, we can make an offer to buy the bicycle from you. But at that point, there's no revenue sharing. We buy the bicycle and we put on the platform and we keep 100% of the revenue for us. The third option is to donate money to a non-profit organization or an NGO in Japan. So we have two major partners today, Ashinaga and Second Harvest Japan. As a bicycle owner, we give you the choice. If you don't want to make money, we give you the choice to support one of those two organizations, and every time someone uses your bicycle, we will donate 10% to them. And so you don't make money, but then they get to make money, and you get to learn more about the services this nonprofit organization is trying to do, and the type of people you'd be helping by giving us your bicycle and putting it on our platform.
Okay, thank you for answering.
まとめると、バイクシェアリングするときに、簡単に言うと、ペダルが買ってる自転車をシェアしてるってわけではなくて、もういらなくなった自転車っていうのを、その所有者がいて、その人がシェアしてるものをプラットフォーム上の人が使うっていう感じで、その時に所有者はチョイスがあって、その時に出てくる利益っていうのを、how many percent of the profit go to the pedal?
In which case?
First case of revenue sharing? Yep.
So the owner makes 30% and we keep 70% of the money at that point.
だから 70% がペダルに行くんですけど、30% が自分に利益が入るか、逆にその 30% をペダルが提携している NGO に寄付するっていう方法がある。要するに自分が自転車をペダルのプラットフォーム上に寄付すると、それによってお金を儲けるか、その儲けたお金を自動的に NGO に寄付することができるっていう、システムになっているということですね。Any questions?
Thank you very much for your presentation. So as we all know, that you're foreigners, and I'm also a foreigner as well. So one question is, what are the main challenge for a foreigner like you to establish a company in Japan from scratch?
That could be a presentation on its own, actually. There's quite a lot of challenges in Japan. Japan is still not a startup-friendly country. So for me, one of the biggest challenges has been language. I understand Japanese if people speak. I'm just not good at speaking Japanese. So for me to go incorporate or open a company and fill up all the forms, it's very difficult, and I need to always find a Japanese person. So I had to get Japanese employee, Japanese advisors, Japanese interns, and make a Japanese team. So the language is a big barrier. Culture in certain cases can be difficult as well. Usually outside Japan, things happen much faster. It's much easier to raise money from investors or easier to get users to use a service. Japanese people tend to be more conservative and would like to wait and see more results before they use a service or a company or invest in a company. So that takes time as well. So I think as a foreigner, if you want to do a startup in Japan, being very patient is extremely important. Things do get better with time, and then eventually when you get a reputation and things are going, it's a very nice market to be in, but it's just very much more challenging at the beginning compared to other countries like Singapore or the UK. So I've incorporated a company in Singapore as well in the UK. It was much easier than in Japan.
質問はその外国人として日本で創業するのはどれだけ大変か、どういったチャレンジがあったかということなんですけど、一つは言語、日本語を基本的に使わないと日本ではビジネスできないので、日本のアドバイザーだったりとか、日本の従業員を雇ったっていうところで、2つ目に関しては、日本のユーザーとか投資家っていうのは結構保守的なので、サービスを保守的なのでサービスすぐに使ってくれなかったりとか、投資とかがすぐに集まらなかったっていうのが一つ大きいチャレンジだったっていうふうに言ってます。じゃあちょっと 質問はこれで1回終了して、この30分後ぐらいに1回10分ぐらいの休憩とその後に、30分ぐらいの交流タイムがあるので、そこでぜひ直接質問していただいたりとか、あとインターンに関しても、僕とひろきとが後ろにいるんですけど分かってると思うので、もし質問とかあったら僕らでもいいので、ぜひインターンとか興味あったら言ってください。Thanks so much. Jad.
Thank you as well. And if you have any other questions, I'll be here the next 2 hours to answer them during the breaks. And don't forget to take a picture if you want to enter the draw. Thank you.
ではありがとうございます。次にですね、